I just keep breathing. It's awesome. I have the visual of like Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming. Just keep breathing. Like breathe in your little bubble, baby. Where it's just like that ease of breath and the ease of being, even in the resistance that I'm in right now, and tasting, sensing, feeling, allowing kindness to insert itself in my life. That.
There's a war within ourselves and our neighborhoods and our neighbors. And it's growing and it's bigger, and on social media, and the bullying on social media and the haters, and like everybody's attacking everybody. And we can spend a lot of time between what's happening globally and what's happening on social media and what's happening in our workspace or our neighborhoods, and that creates a lot of angst and fear and many plethora of other feelings. And then we forget to just come back to home and to center and what's happening within me, what's happening within my body, and what's true in my bubble, and what's true in my little bit outer bubble of my home, and my outer bubble of my circle, my inner circle, and my community. And when we can come back to that space, we might find that the outer wars aren't actually in our inner space, and we can find the sanctuary and the sweet spot of kindness and love within our small environment. And if we can focus on how that is, and then extend that out when we're driving and someone does something stupid in front of us, and we instead interact with that, oh, he didn't turn on his blinker and I almost hit him, instead of interacting with the outside war energy, we're interacting with our inner kindness energy, and we don't disrupt our own nervous system in a moment of road rage, but instead we're like, it's not that big of a deal, it doesn't matter. Because a lot of times we play nice in the world, but nice is not always kind. Kind is very different than nice. And when we're playing nice, we start holding in truth and pulling away from ourselves, because we're allowing unkindness to happen in our surroundings.
Kindness actually is here. It's here. Like, it just totally makes me cry, Michelle. Like how the state of the world becomes so loud, people can't hear their kindness. And then it's almost like people put on these noise canceling headphones so they don't hear all of the havoc in the world. They don't hear all of that pain and trauma and suffering. But in putting on those noise canceling headphones, we also shut ourselves off from the human experience of my kindness can matter in the world. We've now created this separation of myself from the world, because the world right now is in an unkind place. I've shut myself off from the kindness of me, and now I've separated myself from the world. And then I wonder why I feel so alone, or I wonder why I feel so overwhelmed, because I'm actually not in relationship with the world. But I'm a completely relational being. I mean, when I got the download of Kindness Matters, it was I was just coming out of sleep. And I saw these two letters, K.M. and they were really small, but big, like block letters. And it was like like on a TV show, and where the set is black and you can see nothing. And then all of a sudden, this little light and these two little letters, but blocky letters, KM. And then I just get this, like the smallest kindness can light up the whole room of me. The smallest kindness can light up my neighborhood. And so we have to take the noise canceling headphones off and be the kindness of me, with me, for me, around me, while I'm in a world that is kind and hurting.
Yeah, and it does make a difference. Like the smallest amount of kindness does make a difference in the world. Just smiling at someone and saying hi as you walk by, not knowing anything about them or their day or what they're going through, can truly make the smallest increment of difference. I notice sometimes now that I've traveled and I've seen all this interaction and what that's like, I go through a door in public and I hold that door for the next person that's coming. And sometimes you can see the uncomfortability in someone accepting that door's held open for them because they're used to it slamming in front of them. And sometimes you can just see like a tinge of light, like light up for somebody. And it's something super simple. It's just a public door. It's not relevant in a big way, but it's relevant in a really big way when it's held open and not slammed in front of you.
I don't know where I saw this. It was just this week, something on social popped up, and a young gentleman, I think he's probably like mid-20s maybe, was having a conversation. I don't know if it was with Mel Robbins or someone, but anyway. And he said, he was talking about how he created and changed things in his life. And he recalled a story from his dad. And I think it was his grandfather. His grandfather told him, like the 5-2 rule. I think it was 5-2 or it's 7-2, whatever. And he says, when someone is 5 feet away from them, you look up and you look them in the eye. And when you're 2 feet away from them, you say hello. It's just so beautiful, like the will. And all of this comes back to our conversation about Hello Me. I find it kind of interesting because like this time last year, my head was getting out of my ass. I was like, who the hell am I now? Like what just happened in 2022? Frick-a-dick-dick. Now we're like 6 weeks left in the year. Oh my God. And then that began this Hello Me journey of really like indwelling, inquesting, but in collaboration with others and being witnessed collectively as everyone's space for themselves to be space with each other. And now that's almost a year later. And now this blessing of kindness matters, that it's no longer getting, your head out of the sand and figuring out who the hell are you, but it's actually, I know me and I have a kindness within me, and the kindness within me matters. And the kindness within me matters so much that I'm going to commit to the kindness of me every day in the smallest, most gentle ways and in the big, bold ways when required. And I'm going to commit to the kindness of me because I know the kindness of me lights up the world. And so not just coming for breath, coming for meditation, coming for movement, coming for the centering of you, but coming for the commitment to a creation of a greater world. Like, those are the people I want to hang out with. We've gone through 2023 of like, oh, we know ourselves more. Yes. Excellent. I have my gifts and skills and capacities. Great. And now inviting those people who are really ready to lean into the true kindness of themselves, and then collectively together, how when we gather and we come together in community and authentic connection and this honoring of each other with this kindness infused throughout, how that is going to actually change the world. No longer who am I in the world, but how can all of me and the kindness of me actually shift things in the planet. That's it.
Yeah. I really appreciate that we have moved into this place, because same, like this time last year, I was trying to get over myself. Like I had spent so much time in, isolation outs outside of my immediate family. Obviously I wasn't in isolation, but not interacting with the world. And then for the first part of this year and hello me, I was like, who am I and what do I want to be doing? And then I jumped into this adventure, and I traveled all over my country and interacted with people in so many different ways, and got to see and experience things that really have opened my eyes to humanity and how our world is, and the unkindness of things, and where kindness actually matters. And it's so important to be infused into every moment that every individual is walking on this earth.
I just keep breathing. Like I'm even in this conversation for the last hour of like just breathing in those words you just said, just breathing. Yeah, it's a beautiful gift. We've often talked about, and I say this with my clients, when we're in conversation with other people and there's moments of friction or disconnection or tension, you're just sensing it's not going well, and you just want to tell someone, make your bed, or like do the thing I want you to do so that I can feel better. Or someone's doing that at you. I've often said, just breathe and take 3 beautiful breaths before you say anything. And the awareness that's coming now is not just 3 beautiful breaths. Like I'm going to breathe 3 times to hold myself back from saying anything so that I can then say something. Okay, I'm going to breathe 3 times so they have the space, so that give myself space so they have space. And then I'm going to come in. I'm going to tell them something. But what if we breathe 3 times and invited the breath of kindness in this moment? And so a living example, I mean, you're sharing how you're sitting in the truck and then the ex person or whoever that person is comes and walks around. And you share this story, I could jump in and I could talk about, I got an ex story. We all have ways that we can, we think we're communing with the conversation, but is it really a collaboration? Or could I just invite the breath of kindness and allow the breath of kindness to come through in my body and out my body from hearing those words? So then it invites me into presence, where I actually don't have to say anything in relationship to what you just shared. I just have to breathe this breath of kindness through me, and I'm getting the set of the, and then filtering that, allowing that beautiful breath of kindness to come right back to you and expand both of us even greater in our own individual journeys collectively through this breath of kindness. And then it's just so much easier. All I have to do is just breathe with you. So that, I mean, we share lots of stories together all the time. And I'm so grateful for all those things we get to share and create and collaborate together with. And yeah, that just allowing this breath of kindness to move from those stories you've shared through me, through you, and let this breath of kindness take me to new places I do not yet know, and I don't need to know them because the breath of kindness is there. That.
And that is kind. And that is space and breath. So thank you.
Moment of grace story. So I have this big lilac tree in my front yard. My front door is here, and there's 2 lilac trees, and they go over top of my stairway to come into my house. And it's going a little bananas. Like there's some dead things that are way up high, and if you're at the street, the tree kind of looks like it needs a haircut so that it can grow better. And it requires a big ladder and a bit of effort and stuff that I don't have, and a saw, because it's quite big. And on the yesterday, actually, I went into my garage and I pulled out some tree trimming shears and some clippers and hedgers and stuff. And I couldn't do the tip-toppy parts because I mean, I do have a ginormous ladder and I could go up and do them, but I don't have a saw. But I did the outsides, and I have a big pile of dead tree now that has to go to the dump. But for me, it was this communion with the tree, actually, and this moment of grace. Like I took as much time as required. I didn't look at my phone. I didn't check my watch to go, this is taking too long. I should have just hired somebody. But it was me and this tree. And it was so, the process just felt really graceful. It was like spacious and breathy. I'm in my pajamas and my winter coat. And I would trim a little here, and then I'd walk out to the steps, and I'd go and I would talk to the tree and like, hey tree, show me which branch you want me to trim. Show me what's required. Like, how can I help you, tree? And we had this beautiful dance together for probably, I don't know, 2+ hours, maybe 3 hours. And even as I trimmed the tree, there are moments I was like stepping on parts of things to get up higher, and talking to the tree of like, this will be easy, it won't hurt, it's going to be okay, just let it come, let it go, and I would go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And every little trim, even like the ones that typically are harder, we're just like, boop, it was like, okay. And the tree is surrendering all of these branches. And what was in my mind prior to that as being work and effort and energy was so much more gracious and spacious and playful, but playful with like there was like a respect, collaborative respect space. And I bring that up just because sometimes thinking about moments of grace, we can often go, oh, like it has to be, this prayerful moment, or like something more holy or something when we hear the word grace. And yet it could also be in our commitments, our work relations, our to-do lists, the tasks that we do. And if we're leaning into grace to help us choose the moment, that's an interesting thing. And so I allowed the spaciousness to take me into this beautiful activity with my tree, and it became really gracious, and an honoring of me, and an honoring of the tree, and a like, we were both so grateful for each other. Even how there's parts of the tree that I kind of had to wrap with a bit of a bungee cord, because some of the lower branches are like, what? And they're going a little crazy. Even how I bound them together, I did it with this, like, you're wrapped in love and all good. It just changed from doing to graciously being in relationship with this experience. It was pretty fun, me and my tree.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
And I know sometimes with Mother Nature, we often can feel this holy experience in nature because nature is all good and doesn't judge us. And so just, as people are listening, like how could that get extrapolated in anything else that you're wanting to get done, or you're wanting to move forward, but you haven't done it yet? How can this moment of grace actually move those things on your list? And whether it's a love list or do list or whatever, how can this moment of grace infuse that and move it forward in a really different way?
What a beautiful invitation for everyone who's listening. So thank you, Christy. Great chat.
Yeah, welcome.
See you next week. Bye for now.